everybody, welcome back to Winning with Williams. It's been a bit of a break, hasn't it? And as you can see here, we last completed the Chinese Grand Prix where we took 12th place after a collision with... Did we take 12th place or was it 13th? It's been so long I cannot actually remember. I should probably go back and have a look. But we again outperformed the car. We did take some damage late on after a battle with Pierre Gasly. Here you can see a little bit of contact with the other AlphaTauri of Daniel Kvyat. So we've opened the season with some decent results, and there you can see that the front wing damage we have on the right hand side, which was the front left tyre. It's been a decent start for Williams, for myself and for George Russell. But now it's the Dutch Grand Prix. So we're heading to Zandvoort for the very first time, although in 2020 of course we didn't actually get to race at Zandvoort. So before that we are adding a couple of upgrades, a couple of aero upgrades here, undernose turning vanes and something on the diffuser, additional strakes. So hopefully that can help the car develop a little bit quicker, a bit more pace. We've got into Q2 in the last two rounds, so we'll be looking to do that again today. As you can see, the engine is taking a little bit of a pounding. Mercedes need to do a bit more work on their reliability, but here we go. We are fast forwarding to the Dutch Grand Prix weekend, and there is a quick snapshot of the upcoming upgrades. And here is the development tree. Now if you have a look at the very start going into Australia, we had made some upgrades pre-Australia which actually helped us be sort of level with Haas and AlphaTauri. So that was important, and as we look at the screenshot here of practice 2, we're actually 9th fastest. So let's head to qualifying. Alright, straight onto track and ready for our first lap in Q1. Coming out of the banked final corner, actually more tricky than it looks to get right there. You think you could just sort of floor it and the banking would help you keep the foot flat to the floor, but not quite so much. A little bit wide at Tarzan, and there's a little bit of traffic coming out. It is Pierre Gasly. We have to be very careful to avoid him. It slightly compromises our line into turn 3, but it's all neat and tidy enough. Decent enough exit. Tricky to get traction out of there because it's coming off the banking onto this slightly slopey, hilly section. This fast right-hander, I think it's sort of turn 8, isn't it? Turn 9 maybe? Is very tricky. Be very cautious of that curb. We've run wide at the start of the double right-hander. This is where I really struggled. This second right-hander, as you can see, missing the apex and running a bit wide on the left-hander here. This is where I lose all my time around this circuit. I'm fairly good through the first section and most of the final sector of the lap. That middle sector just kills me. I just cannot get a flow through there. Approaching the end of the lap then, and it's been a neat and tidy lap. As you can see on the bottom right hand side of the screen, the little engine icon is yellow, which means we're not actually getting full power from our Mercedes engine. We clip the wall as we come towards the line, and we go 4th fastest with a 1:12.851, and we're back on track immediately with 47 seconds left of the session to do our final lap. We are in P18, but there is certainly more pace in this car. George is currently last in 20th, and we're braking as late as possible into Tarzan. Again, we don't quite hook up the apex, but we are up as we come out of this first corner. Clip the curb, and the car is all out of shape. We're very wide. The banking helps us survive, brings us back to where we want to be, but we actually get a very decent exit out of that left-hander, which I think is turn 4 perhaps, and we're about a 10th and a half up, approaching 2/10 up now, and this is where we need to nail it. We hook up the apex much better this time on the first part of the double right-hander, and look at that, half a second gained immediately, up to 0.6 of a second. A much tidier exit, taking a slightly wider entry to the long left-hander, get good exit, straighten the car up for best traction, and we are flying down to this big stop, this tight right-hander. We've gone a little bit wide, and that compromises our run through. We're hard on the power, we're losing the back end, and we have crashed into the wall. And our qualifying in Zandvoort is over. Here's a replay from off-board. You don't see us getting it quite so wrong in the first part of the chicane, but we get it very wrong on the exit of the long left-hander, and that is qualifying over. We will start from 18th on the grid. Obviously, we don't want to talk to anybody or have anyone look at us. So, George is 20th. I'm 18th. Not so good. But things are actually about to get a whole lot worse. Let's head to the race. But where is the race? Well, after this, I actually stopped recording because I always stop recording after qualifying and then I reset it. And then I forgot to re-record. I did get this lovely screenshot of me overtaking Kimi Räikkönen at the Tarzan hairpin. So the race actually went as well as qualifying. We crashed out and didn't finish. We managed to take Kimi Räikkönen with us. We were running way down at the back. A couple of other drivers had retired. So we're heading to Monaco instead. Yeah. Here is how it all went down. As you can see there, a DNF for us and a DNF for Kimi Räikkönen. George Russell ended up 17th. It just wasn't a very good day. So let's head to Monaco. Having a look here at our perks, wondering whether we should spend some money, but we decide not to. We did get the upgrade on the reliability, so we're just going to go through a few more upgrades here. Let's have a look, see if we add any. Yeah, we do. We're going to add the turbo and the MG UK. No, the control electronics there because the engine is wearing. Now, as we head into Monaco, I should probably let you know that my least favourite as an upgrade actually fails there. The front downforce upgrade fails. We do top it up with some extra resource points here, and that will come in, I think, just in time for the Monaco Grand Prix. Now, Monaco, I find Monaco very difficult. I play on a pad on my PlayStation, and I find it very tricky to get a flow around Monaco. So let's dive into Q1 here and see how we get on. Of course, I said I find it very difficult around Monaco. That doesn't mean I can't complete a lap around Monaco without crashing. So let's see how we do on our first run. Breaking down into Zandvoort, we did the practice programs and picked up some more resource points for car development in practice, which went fine. Slightly wide there as we get to the top of the hill and through Casino Square. One of the first problem corners for me. I always seem to get understeered as we enter Casino Square, and then I'm offline through the right-hander. The Lowe's hairpin, touch wide there, and then into Portier. The scene, of course, of that very famous Ayrton Senna accident. A little bit of wheel spin as we enter the tunnel. Back end waggling around, but we're down into the seafront chicane, braking late, avoiding the wall, cutting the corner as much as possible. Again, too much wheel spin, and the back end flicking out, through to back and into the swimming pool. We're sliding all over the place. We're out of shape. This is not really a very good lap. And into the Rascasse. Be careful of clipping the inside wall there with the rear right wheel. Pinpoint accuracy needed at Anthony Noge. And across the line, it's a 13.8. So at the moment, fourth fastest and slowest of everybody who set a lap time. And here we go then, our final run in Q1. 30 seconds left on the clock. We are slowest of everybody. Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris in the McLarens are actually in the drop zone. And we are quicker through Zandvoort. We're gaining 2.5 tenths, quarter of a second now up as we head into Casino Square. Through the left-hander, still gaining time. A better run. Oh, we've clipped the wall and... A second consecutive session of qualifying where we're up on our second run in Q1, looking to gain time, and we've hit the wall. Personally, I wasn't surprised by this. I was pushing, and I'm always liable to crash at Monaco. So that's the end of our qualifying session. We will start in 20th place. So considering that I mentioned at Zandvoort that the engine parts were wearing, and they were wearing even more heavily at Monaco, George Russell is 13th. Well, at least Williams have got one car into Q2. If I'd strung that lap together, perhaps I could have been there too. But we're going to change the engine, all fresh components, and we are going to head to the grid in Monte Carlo, but not before.
Good day today. Let's have your take on
it. A good day, Claire.
Your qualifying pace didn't put you at the front.
What
of
are
the
these
grid.
ridiculous
Will this
questions?
be a problem tomorrow?
Well, it's not great, is it? We crashed.
You left a lot of paint on the walls today. Were you struggling for grip, or did you just misjudge some corners?
No comment to that answer to that question.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome, Claire. Okay, so we're going to jump in and change the engine. Penalty warning. We don't care. We're starting last, so we might as well start at the swimming pool. Didn't change the gearbox. That's lasting pretty well. But here we go. Monaco Grand Prix.
Nelson Piquet once said that driving the Circuit de Monaco was like riding a bicycle around your living room. And it's not hard to see what he means by that. There's no more prestigious a Grand Prix victory than Monaco, but also none so challenging. We're on the French Riviera once more this weekend at the 2-mile-long Circuit de Monaco. The cars will climb around 40 metres up the hill, past the casino, and then descend downwards towards the harbour through Sector 2. It's a very short run from pole position to the first of the 19 corners at Zandvoort. And don't expect to see much overtaking here today. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Let's talk about Herbert. Looks like they've got a tough race in store today, as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Sebastian Vettel, and Perez, Albon, Ricciardo, Stroll, and Carlos Sainz. Kvyat, Gasly, Kimi Raikkonen, and Russell, Ocon, Norris, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Herbert. They've taken a grid penalty. Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So we're just going to set up our strategy. Just fiddling around with it here. Just comparing a few bits and bobs. I want to start on the mediums, go a little bit deeper into the race, and then hopefully a safety car will help us out. We're going to underfuel the car, perhaps. Yep, there we go, by a lap. To give us a little bit of a boost off the line. So here we go. 5 red lights in Monaco. And it's go in Monaco. We make a decent start and we're launching off the line straight past the two Haas's, down the outside of Giovinazzi, and we're already up to 17th place on the outside of Norris into turn 1. Everyone bunching up, and we're actually round the McLaren and going side by side with Esteban Ocon, who's on the soft tyres. And yep, go on Ocon, you can go. I don't want to die at Monaco. Thank you. But we're going to be right on his tail. So as Raikkonen out of shape through the exit of Casino Square, and we're diving down the inside of Ocon. Nicely judged. Ocon comes back at us. We're going to squeeze him towards the wall. There you go. Have a little bit of barrier, son. And he's still there. Go away. Round the outside at the Lowe's hairpin. It's a little bit of a car park. A touch of contact. But we're up into 15th place. We started last at Monaco and we're already at in 15th place. And everyone else is on soft tyres. So we're actually 3 laps underfueled here. Not 1 lap. That was my mistake. And yeah, thanks Jeff. Everything is looking good so far. So let's see if we can close the gap to Raikkonen. Norris is behind us and he's dropped to 2.5 seconds. I think he and Ocon had a bit of a debate about who could take 16th position, and Norris decided it would be him. So we're chasing Kimi Raikkonen. We are less than a second behind. If we can hang on to him in that window, we will pick up the DRS and be able to close the gap on him. But of course, he's on the soft tyres. So let's see how our opening laps fare against Kimi's. He's obviously gained about 1/4 of a second on us through the first sector. That might just be traction out of Zandvoort and then the grip through the corners. Of course, we're on the mediums. So if we can stay within a sensible window and not lose too much ground, we could be in a very good position. Perhaps we could score points in this race. Again, closing up on Raikkonen through the Portier section and now into the tunnel. Using the ERS. But what we've also got to remember is that Norris and Ocon are behind us, and at some point they're probably going to catch me. Norris has already closed the gap by about a second over the course of the lap that he's spent behind me. Now down to 1.1 seconds, and we're 1.3 behind, 1.4 now behind Raikkonen, as Bottas and then Hamilton set fastest laps. A touch wide at Raskas there for me, and we're now 1.3 seconds adrift of the Alfa Romeo, as Norris is now just 3/4 of a second behind. You can see him there as we have a little look behind. DRS is now enabled. We cut Zandvoort, pick up an exceeding track limits warning, and we are falling back from the Alfa and into the clutches of the McLaren. Remember, Norris qualified low down on the grid. I think he only just managed to get out of Q1 and then ended up qualifying sort of 15th or something. Ocon didn't make it out of Q1 and is now being punished for it, and we punished him doubly by overtaking him at the first corner. So we're trying to close the gap on Kimi. It's kind of fluctuating between sort of 1.1 and 1.5 seconds. There's not that much difference between the cars, and of course Kimi is being held up by my teammate. I haven't had the pace of George this weekend. I was slightly quicker in Zandvoort, and I probably would have qualified ahead of him if I hadn't got so excited on the old right trigger out of the penultimate corner. So into the Raskas, we've run a touch wide again. Do we touch the barrier? No, we just escaped damage, but now Norris is absolutely right on our gearbox, using the ERS to escape and got a good bit of traction. We're 3 seconds away from our teammate, and we've extended track limits again, and we are all flustered, and now Norris is literally in the car with us. He's a tenth and a half behind, 2/10 behind. And Ocon is closing the gap too, and we're 2.7 seconds adrift of Raikkonen, 3 seconds adrift of Raikkonen. I've just got to settle back down here. Lap 4, long way to go, not even 1/4 of the way through this 20-lap Monaco Grand Prix. The sun's shining as well, so we don't want to do anything too silly because, well, it's Monaco. You don't want to throw it away. But we do want to gamble a little bit, so that's why we're on the medium tyres, hoping that someone else will fall off the track and present a safety car opportunity for us to gain some places. But we've gained some time on Kimi. Get a little bit skittish through the first part of the swimming pool. We're having to just be careful. We're just a little bit nervous here. And again, slightly deep. But we hook up the second part of the Raskas and into Anthony Noge as we come across to begin lap 5. We've still kept Norris behind us, and we've actually opened up a little bit of a gap to the McLaren. And this is the beauty of Monaco. If you've got track position, you can pretty much maintain it unless you completely make a mess of the final corner, or you're on dead tyres, or the safety car comes out. Big slide there out of Casino Square for us. But, you know, track position is absolutely king in Monaco, although they use a prince. Albert is his name. So, I mean, if we could just get to the end like this, that would be a result for me, because Monaco as a race is unique and fantastic for what it is, but it doesn't provide great racing. And on the games, I generally just find it very tricky. You know, it's not the sort of track you can just come home from a big day at work. You're tired, you just want to relax, play some F1. Don't play Monaco. But this was the deal that I was dealt, the cards that I was dealt. And we are racing around Monaco. 2.9 seconds, or 3.1 seconds now the gap. We're kind of holding that gap to Raikkonen. And of course he will pit before us for fresh tyres. He's on the soft tyres. Norris is behind us. He'll pit before us. And we're hoping that these guys all come out in traffic and start holding each other up. And then if I can escape into clear air and not be held up, then we can be in line to make some gains through the pit stops. Oh, a big slide out of Portier. It's downhill there, and I just got a little bit too trigger happy, and the oversteer was real. We're running in lean revs, so that really does equate for why we don't close up. Obviously, we're 2 laps down on fuel, so we've got to recover that. So we're just running in lean, trying to reduce the wheel spin as well to help us get through some of the corners. As you could see through Portier, it's not working. And again, there, just too much curb, getting on the power, not letting the rear settle, and we are just sliding all over the place. And now the pit stop window has opened. Those at the front who qualified on the soft tyre, they're coming out from their pit stops. So we're going to come out right behind Max Verstappen. So if we can get into his slipstream and he could just sort of drag us along here, that would be handy. We're a little bit wide there, and we've lost the rear end, and we've hit the wall, and we've lost our front wing. Well, I said we needed a safety car, and we needed someone else to bin it. But we are the ones who have fallen foul, and now we've got to do almost an entire lap around Monaco with no front wing. Well, isn't this fantastic? It's hardly surprising, to me at least, given that I find Monaco so tricky. But we're got to go through the tunnel with no front wing. Don't crash, don't DNF again. Gosh, we're going to run out of... Oh, and they're all trying to file past us, and we're doing our best to stay out the way and get back to the pits as quickly as possible. Perez and Magnussen and Ricciardo now all flash past. Oh dear, and George Russell's in the pits, so when we arrive they're going to be slower than a slow thing, changing our wheels and front wing. New tyres, hards, or what are we going for? We're into the pits, just. Hard tyres, or are we going to switch to softs? I think I kept it as hards. Yep. There we go, hard tyres, and look at that. They're not even ready. Guys, did you not know that I was coming? Someone needs to give them a heads up. 7 seconds, 8 seconds, 9 seconds, 10 seconds, 11.1 seconds, and away we go. And we're coming out in last place. We are 12, 13, 14 seconds now behind Romain Grosjean. Fantastic. But we've got fresh tyres, so some of those ahead of us still need to pit. Norris and Ocon have already pitted. Raikkonen's pitted. I think Grosjean started on mediums as well, so perhaps we can catch up with him. But we'll have to obviously not bin it and not crash. Our best lap time so far is a 1:16.6, which probably isn't very competitive in the grand scheme of things. We've actually lost time to Grosjean on this lap. We're just feeling our way back into things. We're nearly 16 seconds adrift of the Haas. Yeah, so this race has taken a massive turn for the worse, which isn't great, because this could have been somewhere we really pounced on someone else making a mistake. It's Giovinazzi pits. Will we be able to overtake him? Just looking at the mini-map, and he's actually coming out of the pit lane And we're not even on the pit straight, so we are plumb last, and we are absolutely miles away from anybody. We desperately need a safety car in the next few laps, or corners would be fantastic. We're actually closer to being lapped than we are to Giovinazzi. And we've picked up a puncture, we've clipped the wall, and we've lost another front wing. And there is a virtual safety car. I said we needed a safety car, but we have caused it, and we are out of the Monaco Grand Prix. It's a second consecutive DNF. And really, I'm just glad that's over. That was torturous. That took so much time and effort to get that right. And I couldn't even finish the race. We stay 14th in the championship, the highest non-scorer so far. Well, yeah, a bad day. Not great. But, you know, it wasn't all bad. Let's have a look at the replay, which is coming up in a second. Our race actually started fairly well. So I'm going to show you the replay of the start. And that's the end of the episode. Thanks for watching, everybody. Leave your condolences for the Williams front wing taking a battering around Monaco. My name's Aaron. This has been the 5 Red Lights. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll hopefully be able to get the next episode out a lot quicker than I got this one out. But I have been considering moving this series to Twitch, as I can stream that directly from my PlayStation. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you think that would be a good idea, or if you'd prefer to see it continue as a series on YouTube. Yeah, that's it for today. Like, comment, and subscribe. Ding the bell. Do all those things. My name's Aaron. This has been the 5 Red Lights, and when the 5 Red Lights go out in Canada, I will see you next time. Bye for now.